Okay, the first thing on our agenda for this evening is to do the approval of the minutes. So I'll go ahead and pull up the minutes from last week, give you guys a second to take a look at them, and then we will vote on that. Hold on just a second. Okay. As you can see, it's very comprehensive.
How much in detail you want?
Very. Okay. This is great. So going forward, we'll send these out further in advance so you guys have time to really review them. But for tonight, I'm just slowly scrolling through it. Everybody enjoying my slow scrolling?
You're kind of doing it right now.
You know, I do what I can for you. Okay. So I entertain a motion to vote on the approval of last week's minutes.
Carrie said motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hold your hands up for a second. Secretary Matter needs to count. Yeah. All opposed? Say nay. Any abstentions? Okay. And for those of you on Zoom, if you would like to just use the little emoji feature, that's completely fine. We'll count that. Okay. Going back to the agenda, moving on to open forum. Is anyone here for open forum? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. This evening, we do not have a speaker's podium guest, so we will skip right through that. Moving on to officer reports. So this week, I have been doing a lot of things. I had 5 meetings today. And on top of all of that, I've also been getting prepared to go with Secretary Mattern to Austin this weekend for UT SAC, which is the UT System Student Advisory Council. Essentially, all 14 UT System schools have 2 representatives that come together for a meeting, and we discuss system-wide issues. So kind of think this, but for the whole UT system. So that's going to be a great opportunity. I know I'm excited to go. I assume that Secretary Mattern is as well. And y'all just be thinking of us as we go represent UT Tyler. Moving on to Vice President Savinoff.
Great. So this week, we're having our first event counseling center. That is tomorrow. So I believe it's at 12. Yeah. So if y'all are available at 12 in UC, that's what's happening. That's one of the big things that I'm working on this semester is our events in the counseling center. And leading off of that, also working with the accessibility authors. I've got a meeting scheduled with them this week to kind of do some of the same things that we're working with the counseling center. And then the rest of my working committee.
Secretary Mattern.
I've still been working on this, but did the church come in? No, okay, I gotta go put in on that. The 10 days come in. I'm working on a table log. I've been buying all this stuff this weekend. And updating the website. And we talked to, I forget his name, Steven, the head coach. He's happy to come on that today.
Yeah. Going forward, once we get all the new senators in after our September election, we will have an opportunity. Okay. We'll have an opportunity to get a professional headshot. So you can expect that in the next few weeks, we'll have a meeting where you'll need to dress more formally so we can get that taken care of. Okay. Let's see. Treasurer Lindbergh is not present this evening, so Chief of Staff Smith, and yeah, if you'll come up here so we can hear you better. You can just stand right there.
So I've basically been finalizing stuff within our own constitution to add the environmental sustainability committee, and then put language into the constitution that basically says that the graduate student association committee will become a will be a committee, ad hoc committee, until it becomes a registered student org. And then other than that, it's just been minor changes like adding the health science campus to as a group that we would be having senators come from, and then just minor language change in the sections regarding the residence hall association.
All right, and I will clarify that the change to make Environmental Sustainability Committee a standing committee has not been formally approved yet. That's just something that we as an executive board have been considering and we'll open discussion on later this meeting. Okay, moving on to committee reports. First, we have events committee. If you'll come up to the front so we can hear.
All right, so events committee, our upcoming events are going to be obviously the counseling center event is tomorrow, and then we have Constitution Day, which we're still working on finalizing all of the details, mainly whether or not KCR and I will be dressing up as pioneer women.
We are.
We are?
You will see.
Sweet.
Come
Super
to Constitution Day, 12 to 2 next Friday. If you would like to see me, Jennifer Landry, and the president of ATO, Daniel, dressed as pioneer people.
Yeah.
Because we will do anything for this university.
We really will. Okay, and then our next big event is Midnight Breakfast.
How many of you, just curiosity, have experienced Midnight Breakfast?
Like pre-COVID.
Wow.
Sweet, only 3 of you.
Wow. Well, it's
Chloe?
a huge event.
You never went?
We have a ton of people come, pancake breakfast, 10 to midnight. That'll be in October. It's going to be great.
It's super exciting. Those of you that have not experienced it in person have also never experienced Jerry's stuff at Midnight Breakfast, which is arguably the best part of Midnight Breakfast.
Yep.
And then Adon and I spoke today about a fall festival that you and him are working on. So I can't wait to hear more about that. Also, slight change to my committee time. I know I said last week that it was going to be at 4 p.m. It's actually going to be at 4:30. However, this week, if you're available Thursday at 8:30 a.m., that's where it's going to be just this week. So
we'll send group me messages, and I'm sure you guys saw in my email that I sent out a committee schedule. I'm hoping that that's helpful to y'all. If it isn't, then I won't send it out, but I'm planning on including that each week so you have an easy reference, and I'll update it on there to make sure it's accurate. Okay, moving on to communications committee.
Okay, hi.
Hold on, just a moment. Whenever I ask you to speak, so that we're getting microphones so we can make sure that our attendees by Zoom can hear appropriately. But for the time being, if you'll just kind of stand sort of right here in the center, that way the microphone picks you up. Everybody cool on that? All right, great.
Okay,
continue.
my committee did not meet this week, so it was Labor Day. I hope you all had fun. If y'all would, like if y'all actually did something really fun, can y'all send me a picture of anything? I want to make a post. I'm in charge of the post. And I think I want to make a post over what Andy Petit talked about last week too. And then I need to start making posts about the elections coming up.
Absolutely.
And everything.
Yeah. Our election is happening soon, so we need to make sure that that information gets out there. If you're interested in helping design cute posts or flyers to help with that, the communications committee is the place to be. Great. Okay. SGAC, again, Treasurer Limbrick is not here this evening, but I do know that they are planning on meeting on Thursday to field the first couple of requests that we've received for funding. So we should next week hear from him regarding what those organizations requested and how much it was and what it was for. So that will be sort of the standard going forward. Moving on to Rules Committee.
Okay, so basically same thing that I said earlier, except we're going to be meeting right after this General Assembly meeting because we usually meet on Mondays at 5:15. But anyways, I'm basically just going to be sending out like a rough draft of the Constitution, and then we're going to all review it. And if there's any changes that want to be made to it, then we'll open a discussion on that. And then if not, we'll go ahead and move forward and hopefully put that on the agenda soon.
Absolutely, thank you. Moving on to the Environmental Sustainability Committee.
So because yesterday was Labor Day and all that, we also didn't meet this week, but tomorrow we are meeting with
Katie Perez.
Katie Perez, yes. We're gonna discuss a recycling initiative, so not much change.
We received a request from the residence coordinators regarding potentially putting opportunities for recycling in the residence facilities. So Chief of Staff Smith and Senator Harrison are heading that up at the moment, and we look forward to hearing about that meeting. Okay, and last but not least is GSA committee, it stands for Graduate Student Association. For those of you that are unclear, Graduate Student Association is generally its own organization, but they are currently out of registration, with COVID difficulties and keeping numbers and things like that. So we've taken on that responsibility to make sure our graduate students who are unable to attend these 5:30 meetings still have an opportunity to give feedback to SGA. I'll be heading that up, and I plan on hosting a meeting at lunchtime twice a month. And I plan on getting that scheduled on Thursday for when we're going to meet going forward. Even though you guys aren't graduate students, if you'd like to attend those meetings to hear from them, you're more than welcome to. Okay, moving on to student voice reports. First, we have the Houston Engineering Campus. So that would be you, Senator Barria.
Yes. Sorry, can you guys hear me okay? Is it like weird?
I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so with the Houston campus, I think my biggest thing this year is just to get people familiar with the campus. We did have a club meeting last week where all the engineering clubs were able to talk, try to get students more active. And I think I need to kind of push students to use the computer lab. So they need to email main campus and get their IDs so they can print. And then another thing that I talked to Ord about was kind of pushing our November career fair. It's kind of small right now with the amount of employers, but I do want to work with the local, with the Houston branch clubs and see if they can extend the invitation to employers out just to get that a little bit more broad for our students over here.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, moving on to College of Nursing and Health Sciences. Yeah, okay. Perfect.
So hearing from students this past week, a major concern that they had was with advising. A lot of students' schedules were all over the place this current semester, and some students were moved from different sections, so it messed up their whole plans for this semester concerning job-wise. So I was wondering if we could communicate with the advisors of the School of Nursing to see if they can increase communication with students whenever they switch sections. And another, professors have asked me if SGA could promote blood pressure monitoring at the School of Nursing, because as student nurses, we have to do 100 blood pressures during the first level of nursing school. So they were asking if we can do a little, put the word out that nursing students are taking blood pressures at the School of Nursing goals.
Awesome. Yeah, we'd love to work on that. Will you shoot me an email so we can get to work on it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to student body at large, that would be you, Senator Collins.
Okay. I actually haven't heard much from people other than some confusion about parking passes and where people can and can't park. But other than that, that's about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so as you can see here, next week we'll have the College of Arts and Sciences, the College of Business, and Patriot Village. Any questions about that? Fantastic. Okay, moving on to old business. Does anyone have anything to bring up? Okay. All right. Moving on to new business. So give me just a second. Let's see. Okay, all right. So first up for new business, I would like to entertain a motion to open discussion on a judicial board nomination.
And Carrie said motion.
Okay, so we have been looking to fill our judicial board. For those of you that are unfamiliar, it consists of 9 justices. We had Chloe Burleson reach out as an interested person. And for judicial board, it works slightly differently. Rather than essentially, I nominate people. So I would like to nominate Chloe Burleson to be a member of our judicial board. And now I'd like to entertain a motion to put that before a vote. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All in favor or all opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Awesome. I'd like to, if it's okay with y'all, give Chloe just a moment to introduce herself. Everybody okay with that? Awesome. Chloe, if you want to just come up here and give a brief introduction. Or should I say Justice Burleson?
Oh. Hi, everybody. My name is Chloe Burleson. I am a junior studying marketing, and I have known Casey for a while, and I would get behind anything that she gets behind. And so I thought it would be really cool to be able to be a part of SGA. I also think that what y'all do is really cool, and I want to be a part of it.
Awesome.
Thanks.
You're good. And you can stay if you'd like, or you're welcome to leave. It's up to you. Okay. Next, for new business, I would like to, well, I'd like to entertain a motion to close discussion on that topic.
Carrie said motion.
All right. Now I'd like to entertain a motion to discuss a new senator. Awesome. Okay, so with Residence Hall Association, they get the opportunity to fill the housing seats prior to it becoming SGA's responsibility. RHA reached out and they have appointed a senator from Patriot Village. I'm sorry, remind me how you pronounce your name? Kellen. Okay, Kellen Arnold. So Kellen will be representing Patriot Village. With the process with RHA, we don't have to vote on senators that RHA appoints. We just have to swear them in. So Kellen, if you'll just come up here, we'll get the oath done. Awesome. Yep, that's fine. The way it'll work is I'll read it, and if you'll just repeat it and fill in the blanks. Okay, raise your right hand. I insert name.
I, Kellen Arnold,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I shall faithfully represent
that I shall faithfully represent
the interests of the student body
the interests of the student body
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
I shall dutifully uphold
I shall dutifully uphold
and preserve
and preserve
the Constitution and bylaws
the Constitution and bylaws
of the Student Government Association
of the Student Government Association
while ardently executing the office of blank. It would be Senator of Patriot Village. The office
of Senator of Patriot Village
for the student body
for the student body
at the University of Texas at Tyler.
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
Awesome. Let's give our new senator a hand. So you are now officially a senator. We want to welcome you. Like I said, I will get with you and get you some training so you have a better idea of what to expect. But we are excited to have you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to close the discussion on that topic. Okay. Awesome. Moving on, I'd like to entertain a motion to discuss the possibility of making the ESC a standing committee. Y'all are getting really good at this. I'm very proud. Okay, so this is a consideration that the executive board has discussed based on the fact that we've had this committee for some years now. You know, it's just an ongoing concern that we have both as a university community and just as global citizens. So I don't see the need for this committee going away anytime soon. And because of that, I would like to discuss the possibility of making it one of our standing committees, which means that it would be a permanent committee except by amendment of the Constitution. So the importance of that is it would no longer be temporary. It would be built into the Constitution for senates going forward. So anybody have thoughts on that?
What exactly would we be doing, like, as a committee? I know, like, for communications, like getting communication out through social media and through events, planning events and helping coordinate all that stuff.
Sure. So the question was what the scope of the Environmental Sustainability Committee is. They typically have tackled green initiatives on campus, such as recycling, university and system-wide initiatives, like the potential green fee, which has been a prior discussion, but I don't know that it was ever actually enacted. Essentially, we want to make sure that our campus is moving in a direction that is sustainable, and this committee works to discover opportunities for growth in these areas, as well as meet with facilities, our team of arborists, et cetera, to make sure that we're really growing our community in a healthy way. Any other questions, comments, thoughts? Okay. In that case, I'd like to entertain a motion to open this up for a vote. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Fantastic. So that passes oh my gosh. You know what I mean. Unanimously. My apologies. It's only Tuesday. Okay, so the Environmental Sustainability Committee from henceforth will be a standing committee of the Student Government Association at UT Tyler, which is great. We love to support sustainable initiatives. All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to close discussion on this point. Awesome. Now I would like to entertain a motion to open a discussion on appointing a chair of the ESC. Awesome. Just for clarification, I always shorten it to ESC because it makes it easier than saying Environmental Sustainability Committee constantly. So you'll see that throughout my communications. If you forget what it stands for, just ask me. I'd be glad to clarify for you. So the Environmental Sustainability Committee has been functioning thus far this semester without a formal chair. Which is fine. They've still been achieving a lot of things, but we would like to have a formal chair that we can turn to for questions and concerns about the committee, as well as being responsible for leading discussion, taking attendance, etc. Senator Harrison reached out as being interested, so I'd like to give him an opportunity to come up and tell us why he's interested in being the chair of this committee, what he plans to do with the committee, all that good stuff. And then we will open it to a vote after that.
All right. So Senator Harrison, environmental issues have always been kind of a cornerstone issue for me. I've always been out in the environment, doing stuff, just enjoying nature really. So it's just a very integral part of who I am. And I spent a lot of time, while I was younger, living in North Tyler, and those communities are just chronically polluted. So I have some understanding of what living in chronic pollution can do to a community. And I want to do everything I can to make sure that nobody has to experience that, even if it's at a smaller level at a college campus. Is that everything?
Yeah, that's great. Vice President Stamina, will you walk him out for a moment? You don't get to be in here while we vote, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so now we get a brief period of time for you guys to discuss. Anybody have positive or negative thoughts, want to advocate for or against? Oh, my apologies. He will graduate in December. So that is something to consider. I would say he is very passionate about these issues though. So
I just advocating for the really good stuff. Like I've had previous discussions with him about it. He's talking about stuff that I've been doing about it. Yeah.
Did he anyone in Texas?
currently, yeah, in a moment. Do you guys, I apologize for omitting the question section. Do you want me to bring him back in before we vote?
No, it's fine. I was gonna ask him what volunteer opportunities he's done, you know, environmentally.
You can. Okay. You get to vote as well. You get to vote as well. Okay, so we've heard information from him as well as some of his peers. I'd like to put it to a vote. So I entertain a motion to vote on this issue. Awesome. All in favor of making David Harrison the chair of the Environmental Sustainability Committee, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, fantastic. Well, that passes unanimously. Bring him in, and when he comes in, we're all going to cheer or clap. Woo! Congratulations to Senator Harrison for being appointed as chair of the Environmental Sustainability Committee. I look forward to working with you extra. I don't okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to close this discussion. All right, guys. I promised to rock and roll through this. I would like the Senate to note that it has only been 30 minutes and we've knocked out this much of the agenda. So now on to everyone's favorite topic. I would like to entertain a motion to discuss the fee increase proposals. Okay. How many of you have seen the presentations by Dr. Patterson and Rick McGill? Okay, very few. Okay, so just to give you guys some context, proposals were given to us in fall of 2019 to increase both the athletic student fee and the rec sports student fee. We've been talking and deliberating over them since then. With COVID and the economic downturn, we decided that it was best to postpone this discussion until we felt like it was a little bit more stable. So now it's time to bring that back up. I will go over the presentations that they presented and try to answer any questions you guys have. And then if we need to invite them to come speak to us, I'd be glad to do that for you guys. I want to make sure we have as much information as we need to make an informed decision. Everybody okay with that? Thumbs up? Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing the agenda. Actually, I probably could just still do that. Hold on. Okay, so we'll start with the rec sport. Okay, just to give you guys, this is just some information about the HPC. So rec sports is HPC, the fitness and wellness classes, intramurals, all that good stuff. So in this presentation, we're not talking about athletics. There are two separate fee increases technically. So the HPC, as it says, is open 90 hours a week. A ton of students visit it. There are a ton of classes offered. They support the Wellness Wednesdays, a bunch of other wellness opportunities for virtual students. The Lazy Man, Ironman, you can actually complete on your own and you just track it. So they do a lot of things that benefit even online students. Intramurals, I don't know, has anybody played intramurals before? Yeah, Rec Sports runs intramurals. And then outdoor adventures, they are the ones that do trips to Colorado and all sorts of stuff. Pretty cool opportunity. Importance of rec sports. 74% of students report that campus recreation facilities influence their decision to continue attending. So that's a pretty significant percentage. And then it also influences students in deciding to attend the university. As it says, there were 100,000 student entries and over 15,000 program participation. This gives you some, oops, sorry. This gives you some information. Okay, so moving on to what the fee is. Currently, it's $40 a semester, and it has not increased since the creation of the department in the HPC, which is a long time. There were some things written into the legislature that prevented us from being able to increase it. And just to give you guys an idea, the average recreational fee for public schools in Texas is $105. So significantly over what we charge currently. I know it feels like we pay a lot of money every semester, but relatively our education is very high value. Okay, and then rec sports is tasked with generating $250,000 in revenue to offset the fee funding. So essentially this means that if we were to have this fee increase happen, they still have to do their part to increase the funding for the department. Any questions about this slide? Okay. What changes do the students want? So they've done a lot of surveys to see what it is that students would benefit from and desire from the updated HPC. Some things included extended hours of operation, more classes offered later at night, updated equipment, which if you've been in the HPC, I think you will agree with, more space on the fitness floor, climbing wall, increased open gym time, and more outdoor adventures. Any questions about that? Awesome. Programming changes that would be implemented with the increased fee. As it said on the previous slide, extended programming hours, including the PHE, IM field, and extended weekend hours, and there's a cost associated with that. The outdoor recreation professional staff member, and that amount is for a salaried professional to support the increased outdoor adventures and things like that. And as it says, it would allow them to remove the fee to participate in regional trips and offer more of them, which is pretty cool. Added fitness programming, implement a replacement plan for equipment, increase maintenance budget to make sure that the new equipment we buy lasts longer. And this totals at the bottom, the overall annual cost increase. Any questions? Okay. So this talks about some needs with the facility itself. Front desk renovation, HPC pool resurfacing, which means like the floor of the pool would be replaced. Creation of family changing and gender neutral locker rooms. This just allows for more space for guests to change, especially since we have a significant community population that comes to the HPC. We definitely have a lot of people. And then many other projects, such as renovated locker rooms, outdoor basketball courts, building extension, etc. Any questions on the facility? All right. That's all for the rec sports fee increase. So just to clarify, it is $40 now and will be going up. Josh, do you remember the amount it will go up per semester?
Unfortunately, I do not.
He did. Director McGill did not send me the information as to what specific amount it will be increasing.
I do think that is I believe it's going to be in incremental phases. I don't think it is all at once. I could be wrong, but I do think that is I would highly recommend asking that question to the director to see what the exact proposal that they are requesting.
Yes, I do know that last time he spoke with us, they did say that both of these would be incremental increases, but I will get more information on the exact amount. And then let's look at the other one. This is for the athletic increase sent over by Dr. Patterson. So this kind of gives you an idea of where we've been. We're actually now fully D2, which is awesome, very exciting for the university, but with that comes increased costs. So this is some old information. He did send me the new information, but it looks essentially the same. And basically the point of this slide is to show you that athletes tend to have higher GPAs and persistence rates over just your average student. Everybody okay if I move on? Okay. This is our conference membership. It shows you how far it is from side to side. Okay, so some needs. We will have increased team travel costs associated with being D2. That's the point of the previous slides with the map. It's just to show you that in order to make away games, it's now significantly farther travel. We also need to update facilities. That's a shared goal between rec sports and athletics since they both use those facilities. Preventative maintenance and repair. Scholarships, he did clarify would not be funded by this fee, but it is a need associated with D2. Year-round play and practice, rebranding gear, uniforms, and facilities, which I know some of that has started to happen. Recruiting is a major need. NCAA mandates, coaching and staff salaries, comparable salary in the LFC. Any questions about this one? Okay. This just gives some scholarship info. Okay, so this example is just going to go over the UT Tyler baseball team. It shows you what the cost differences are. So as you can see, all of these costs have gone up significantly. Everybody okay if I move on? Okay. Some more. And this is the biggest increase associated with travel as emphasized previously. Some statistics. Okay, this goes over revenue versus expenses for athletics projected from 2018 to 2022. So as you can see, this added fee wouldn't even necessarily scrape the surface of the need when it comes to extended travel, lodging, upgrades, etc. Okay. Any questions about the athletics fee?
Would the athletics fee be applied to all students or just?
That's a great question. This athletics fee is through student fees, so it would be for all students. Both of these would be for all students. So we're currently paying both of these fees, whether you know it or not. The question is whether they would be increased or not. Any other questions? Okay. I will now open the floor to any discussion. Any thoughts? Raise your hand, please.
What do we need to have it voted on if we're, we're going to put it on a ballot?
Okay, the question was, when do we need to have it voted on if we want to put it on a ballot? That is completely up to y'all. There's still time at this point to put it on our September 20th ballot if that's what you guys decide to do. The other options would be, well, let me just clarify. Our options at this point are essentially put it on the September 20th ballot, create a special referendum ballot for later in the semester, or don't put it on a ballot are kind of the three options. So that's just a good starting point for y'all to consider. Any other thoughts? Chloe?
I think we need to know like what they're saying that
Okay. So we need to know what the fee would be. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Adon?
I really just think a fee increase will help to promote school spirit law. I know athletics is what brought my high school together, and I think that's what brings a whole lot of D1 colleges together. Especially just like at TJC, they have a whole culture of like school spirit there because of the athletic programs that are available to them. I think a fee increase will help promote that here at our university. And I know we don't know what the fee is. I think my mind will definitely change depending on seeing how high or low it is. But I think if it hasn't been raised since the establishment, we need to help them keep up with times that are happening right now. I think students will understand, and I think we should give the students an opportunity to vote on that.
Sure. Secretary Matter?
That being said, I think we need to give them an opportunity to learn about it. Like, I know that it was our job to inform students that couldn't Rick send out stuff about, since he wants to be way, couldn't he send out all the information that he provided to the rest of the students?
So Secretary Matter's suggestion is that we put the burden of educating students about these fee increases on athletics and the rec sports department rather than it becoming our responsibility. Any thoughts?
I agree with that. I think they'll be more effective in students. So that's my own question.
Okay, Senator Harrison agrees that that would be a good plan. So the other consideration is even if we do decide that that's the course of action we want to take, we still have to decide whether we want to put it on the ballot or not. It has to go before a Senate, the student body, if it is going to be approved. So even if those are sort of separate considerations, I guess is what I'm saying, whether to put it on the ballot and whether to educate students or have rec sports and athletics do it. Senator?
I think that really just comes down to figuring out what we want to learn, and if rec sports and athletics wants to come and talk to us, or we can just get that information for next meeting, so that we can vote on it then.
Okay.
Because if all it comes down to is how much the fee is, then we can have that by next week. And
it's up to y'all. We can absolutely invite them to come speak to us if that's something y'all are interested in. I can get the information and send it out via email if that's what you guys would like. You guys are leading this discussion, so you tell me what you think. Secretary Matter?
I think we should definitely put it on the ballot, but I don't think it's going to put on the ballot if we do not.
Yeah, it's 13 days away.
I think we should do a special.
So Secretary Matter suggested that we do a special election later into the semester so we have more time to educate students. Any thoughts on that?
I think that's probably the safest option, just so if rec sports does want to try to get information out there, if that's what we agree on, that gives them enough time to try to inform as many students as possible.
Josh, I see you have your hand raised. You go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to provide a response back to the education. Historically, it's been student government's job to help get the word out to students, since y'all represent the areas. And so anytime something is a concern or brought to student government's attention, that is why administrations come into student government, is to get that student input. And so although I understand the logic of asking the athletic department and rec sports to present that information, I do think it could be done in a joint effort. And I think sometimes student government can help get the word out of this issue, and they can be there to help support and help answer those specific questions, such as the ones that y'all have asked tonight. And so I do want to provide that comment, but I also do agree with Ashlyn that you want to provide as much time as you can to ask a lot of good questions and get all the information you can before you vote on a fee increase.
to discuss this?
Kind of going off what Josh said, it looks like if we are going to do this, it's going to be a special election or some sort of referendum. And if it is going to be that course, then I think we should highly encourage the athletic department to send representatives or faculty to attend the General Assembly meeting so that we can be able to help them with questions that may come up that, or they'd be able to say something that we haven't thought of yet, and they could get their voice heard a little bit better, even though we are supposed to represent, the student body and educate them. I think we also need to be educated ourselves a little bit more thoroughly.
So just to be clear, your recommendation is that we invite representatives from rec sports and athletics to both educate us and give an opportunity for us to ask questions? Okay. Any thoughts, questions, action items?
I think it's important to it. So, like them giving out information or them giving more information to us or them to us at the best.
So you just want to make sure that we're fully educated?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Educated by them first, and then we then send it out. So it's like doing effort, but it is on us as a student body to give that information out.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. If you guys know what you want to do, then someone would need to motion to make a decision.
To invite the representative of the board and the representative next meeting.
Okay. There was a motion and seconded to invite Rick McGill and Dr. Patterson to our next meeting. I know for a fact that Dr. Patterson is out of town next week. So I'll see if maybe he can record something or come the following week. He'll be in Denver with one of our sports teams. But we can absolutely at least have Director McGill come. Okay. Any other thoughts or concerns on this topic?
Just so that if he's not prepared to know if he's talking about it.
Sure. So follow-up question on that. Would you guys feel that it's sufficient to know just the increase amount in the athletics fee, or do you guys really want to have them come be available for questions? Okay.
Well, I guess
Rick has some of the information regarding the athletics fee increase, but they are separate fee increases. So even though kind of in my mind, at least, they're very related, they're separate. Okay. All right. I'd like to entertain a motion to close discussion on this topic. Awesome. Moving on to advisor comments. Josh?
No, it seems like it was a pretty productive afternoon. Y'all got through a lot of stuff. It's good. I love hearing the move said motion. That makes me very happy because I think in the past we would get caught up in making motions, and I think y'all find a good way to navigate that. I think I've got a lot of good thoughts. This was a very good meeting. I'm very happy that y'all are having conversations on the fee discussion. I think it's long overdue, and I think this is a good time to at least, I know last year's Senate did survey a student body, but I think now with some education efforts, I think it'd be good to see what the student concerns are, student input, and making sure that you're asking good questions so that way we can make sure that all of our programs are well supported and that we are funding them appropriately to make sure that we are providing the best student experience possible across the board, whether you're an athlete or not. And with us being part of the UT system, and especially being the East Texas UT school, we want to be the best. And so I'm excited about what's on the horizon and the work that y'all will be doing. I do want to share that as we wrap up our fall elections, that it's going to be equally important to get our new senators brought up to speed because they will be representing their constituents. And I think I appreciated one of the senator's comments. I think this is a good time for the senators to go look at, the tuition and fees and see and do some research on what other schools are doing, because I think that is a good starting point, and will help y'all craft some good questions for our future presenters. Other than that, I do want to, I know many of you are also involved in other student organizations. I do want to encourage y'all to make sure that y'all finish the registration process. We want to make sure that we get all of our groups officially registered and get all of the events and activities booked in Patriots Engage and Astra. And because I know a lot of students, every time I talk to new students, they're always looking for something new to do. And this is a good time to get students involved on campus. And so I know we missed out on a lot this past academic year, and we're trying to make up for that. But other than that, a lot of good meetings or good information at this meeting. I do look forward to hearing more about the committee meetings. That is usually where a lot of work is taken care of outside of these meetings. So that way these meetings are not as long. But other than that, kudos to all of y'all for a good, productive meeting. And I look forward to more of these in future weeks.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to announcements real quick. As VP Stavenall mentioned, Thrive is the name of the counseling event. That's tomorrow. It's on the calendar that I sent out, the September calendar. So take a look at it if you forget when it is. We also have some September 11th remembrance events going on. They're happening at different times. So if you're interested in that, just shoot me a text and I'll get you the times. They'll be putting flags on the plaza in remembrance of those that died that day. And then we will also have a short ceremony on Friday, I believe it is. So if you're interested in either of those things or in helping put out flags, which is a need, please let me know. And then finally, there are a couple of you that I have not gotten t-shirt sizes from. I believe it's just Ord and Justin Baria. So if you guys will just shoot me a text so that I can get that taken care of. And then at the end of this meeting, for those of you in person, if y'all will just hang tight for a moment. Thanks. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? Surprisingly, that passes unanimously. I'm just kidding. All right, thank you guys for attending, and we'll see you next week.